So we're going to learn about unit conversion. So this is converting one unit to another unit. Sometimes we're going between imperial and metric. And so we're going to learn how to do that. So if we're converting 20 miles to inches, so a lot of times we will use this method where we set up different fractions, and sometimes there's a word bank and you just fill in the missing parts. So what we're starting with is what they give us. So they're converting 20 miles. So that goes in our first box. And then we're trying to convert miles to inches. We don't have a conversion from miles to inches, but we do have miles to feet and feet to inches. And so we'll use those as two steps to get to inches. So whenever we are converting, whatever we want to cancel out, so we want to get rid of miles, we're going to put it in the denominator. And we're going to put what we're trying to convert to, in this case it's feet, in the numerator. And so we know 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Right? And then we don't really want feet, we want inches. So we're going to cancel out feet and convert it to inches. So there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, and so when we do this, the miles cancel, because we have one on top and one on bottom. The feet cancel for the same reason, and all we're left with is inches, which is what we want. And we're going to multiply everything in the numerator and see what we get. So we get 1,267,200 inches. So that is 20 miles. Right, now we're going to convert gallons to cups. So again, we start with 58 gallons. You start with whatever they give you. And we're going to have to make a few jumps. So we have gallons to quarts, quarts to pints, pints to cups. So since we're trying to cancel gallons, we're going to put gallons in the denominator, and we're going to convert it to quarts. So we know there are 4 quarts to 1 gallon. And then we want to cancel out quarts, so we're going to put it in the denominator. We're converting quarts to pints. So we know there are 2 pints in 1 quart. And then we want to convert pints to cups. And we know there are 2 cups in 1 pint. And so we're going to multiply everything in the numerator. And when we do that, we get 928 cups. Because our gallons cancel, our quarts cancel, our pints cancel, and we're just left with cups, which is what we wanted. All right, so these next few don't have the blanks, but we're going to set them up the same way. So we're going to convert 80 ounces to pounds. So we're going to start off with ounces, and we can look up at our conversion and we can see there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. And so we're going to put ounces in the denominator and pounds up top so that these ounces will cancel. So we have 1 pound is 16 ounces. And so we're going to multiply across. These ounces cancel. Multiply the numerator. 80 times 1 is just 80. In this case, we do have something in the denominator, so it's over 16. And at the end, we'll divide. 80 divided by 16 gives us 5 pounds. Right? We'll convert 18 weeks to days. So we have 18 weeks. That's what we're starting with. And then we'll put weeks in the denominator to cancel it out. And we know there are 7 days in 1 week. And so these weeks cancel. And we'll multiply across. 18 times 7 gives us 126 days. All right, next we'll convert 15 years to seconds. So we have 15 years. We're going to put years in the denominator. We do not have a conversion straight from years to seconds. So we're going to have to make small jumps. So we're going to go from years to days, because we know there are 365 days in 1 year. And then we can go from days to hours. So we know there are 24 hours in 1 day. And then we can go from hours to minutes. So we know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And then we can go from minutes to seconds. So we know there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So sometimes you have to make a lot of jumps. So in this case, the years cancel, the days cancel, the hours cancel, and the minutes cancel. We're just left with seconds. Everything in the denominator is just 1. So that's not going to change. We just need to multiply everything on top. So all of this stuff in the numerator, we just multiply together. So when we multiply this, we get 473,040,000. That's how many seconds are in 15 years. Right, so on number 6, we're going to convert pounds to kilograms. So we start off with 165 pounds. We're going to look up here, and we have 1 pound is 0.45 kilograms. So we're going to put pounds in the denominator to cancel it out. 1 pound is 0.45 kilograms. And we'll multiply across. So the pounds cancel. And we'll multiply 165 times 0.45. And we get 74.25 kilograms. Okay, and our last one, this is actually a speed. So we have 2 conversions that we will have to do in this section. So 70 miles per hour. Think about going down the highway or the interstate. That's about how fast the cars go, 70 miles per hour. We want to convert that into feet per second. So we want to see how fast we are going every single second when we're going 70 miles per hour. So we have 70 miles per hour, so that's 1 hour. So what that means is every single hour you travel 70 miles. When you're going 70 miles per hour, that's what that means. So we have 70 miles in 1 hour. So first, we need to convert miles to feet. So we know to cancel out the miles, we're going to put it on the bottom. And we know there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Right? So we have converted from miles to feet. We just need to convert from hours to seconds. So since hours is currently in the denominator, to cancel it, we're going to put it up in the numerator. Just put it in the opposite section. So we're going to go from hours to minutes. So there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. And then we can do minutes to seconds. And again, we're going to put minutes up top so that it cancels. It has to be in the opposite side of the fraction. So we're going to do 60 seconds in 1 minute. All right, so we'll multiply everything in the numerator and then everything in the denominator separately. So we get 369,600 on top and 3,600 in the denominator. And so our miles cancel, our hours cancel, our minutes cancel, and so all we're left with is feet per second. And so at the very end, we'll go ahead and divide these 2 numbers. And when we divide those, we get 102.6. And that's feet per second. So what that means is when you're going 70 miles per hour, you're actually traveling 102 feet every single second, which is very fast.